Hello. Just disturbed me doing another bit of light reading there. Old Commando comic. I don't know if you remember them when you were younger. It used to be a wee comic that would come out. And they still do them. Seen it in the newsagent today. I couldn't resist. £2 nowadays though. Not like the old 20p or 50p or whatever it used to be. Used to love them books. But anyway, I digress. I thought since it's coming up to Remembrance Day, I would show you how to build a pair of boots to get a mirror finish and a really good shine. So it can be quite helpful to anybody that's maybe joining the armed forces and wants to get a head start on their boots, and somebody in the army cadets, or somebody joining the emergency services or public service where you have to build boots for training. So this is the standard that you can get to after only a few coats, using the technique I'm using, and that's quite good, I think. There are probably people there, probably ex-guards and stuff, that are saying, oh, that's not good enough, I can do way better. But for a wee quick sort of cuffed attempt, that's not too bad. These are just an old set of British Forces assault boots that they had before all these brown boots that they brought out. They are quite good for getting a bull. These are second hand. I got them off eBay for about 12 quid. So yeah, it wasn't too bad just to build up. So I thought I'd show you, and I'll give you some tips, especially with a Remembrance Day around the corner, for anyone that's wanting to, pray it. So I hope you enjoy the video. I'll go and get my boots now and my polishing equipment, and I'll make a wee start. Right, so here's some items of kit that I carry in my polishing kit. They're quite useful. Starting from left to right, I've got some dubbing. That's what I use to waterproof my boots for my field boots, and rough sort of working boots that I use. There's a bit of cloth. I've got just an old pair of boxers, obviously clean, but you're better using a light sort of pair so you can see the dubbing rather than a dark pair, see how much you're using. So for my brown boots, I've got brown polish with an on and off brush, and for my black boots, I've got some Parade Black Noir Kiwi polish and an on and off brush. I've also got for billing, I've got a leather cloth. These are a bit more expensive. Seville cloth, you can buy them in most shops, Timpson's, Tesco's, a lot of places do them. And that's for building your boots. And then I usually take a toothbrush just to get in the nooks and crannies. So it's important to have an on and off brush, and to use them separately. Don't get them mixed up. Another thing as well, I carry is just a pair of laces, so it's good to have that in your polishing kit. So the first thing you want to do before you start applying polish to the boots is to remove the laces. This will just enable you to get in the nooks and crannies a bit more, and it'll get them out of the way, just making your job a little bit easier. And what you can do with the laces is you can take them out if they're dirty and give them a wee wash with a bit of soap and water, and leave them to dry if needs be. Moving on to the polishing, you take your on brush, apply polish onto the on brush, and start putting it around the boots, just making sure to cover the whole of the boot accordingly, and not to miss any parts, and keep applying polish where needed. Get a good consistent layer on. Just be careful of the part between the bull and the actual boot if your boot is previously built, not to scuff it, and just make sure that you get an even job. So you can use the toothbrush also to get in the little nooks and crannies, bits that you can't reach. It's quite good for maintaining your boots, getting in there, the bits that you'll miss. So it should look like that, just a nice sort of grey colour, quite dull, and make sure to get the same amount of polish on the other boot, keep them quite consistent. You can polish the soles of the boot. Some regiments like you to do that. It's just a bit of a square bashing thing, but if you're selling boots maybe in a surplus store, it'll make them look quite new, and make them look a bit better. So that will have allowed the polish to soak into the boots, and now you can just take it off with the off brush, and it'll make it quite shiny, as you can see here. Another wee thing you can do is, if you're using your boots for work and you want them shiny, apply the polish when you finish your day's work, and then take it off the next day when you're back at work, and it should give it a nice shine. But as you can see there, it does bring up quite a nice shine in the boots. And you can do that initially before you start building, if it's a new set of boots, just to add a bit of an extra layer to it. And now for the most boring part, building your boots, getting that mirror shine on. So what I would suggest, an essential item of kit, is a DVD to watch while you're building it. So the choices I've selected here is the full series of Dad's Army, of course. What better sort of show to watch while building your boots? Nice, easy to watch, quite enjoyable comedy, and you can just sit and drift in and out and build your boots, and it'll make time go so much faster. And for those of you who want something a bit less funny and less comedic, you've got Full Metal Jacket, brilliant film, classic. So that's my two options I would usually go for. Something military, so you can build your boots and get in that sort of mindset to do it, and get that nice mirror shine, and not kill all your brain cells in the process through boredom. First things first, before you actually start building your boots, what you want to do is run it under a cold tap. Ensure that the tap's cold first, because I have seen people doing it with hot water and completely destroying the boots. So just run it under a cold tap and all the water will run off, and that'll get all the dust and excess off the boots before you get started. So just do that first. So these are the items for your polishing kit that you're going to need. You're going to need a container for water, cold water, of course. You're going to need a Kiwi black braid polish, and you're going to need the Seville leather cloth, and that's what you'll need to build the boots. So first thing, before I start building, I'm going to get my Dad's Army DVD on, so that my mind's not getting completely numb from the building process. So take the Seville cloth or leather cloth that you have and wrap it round your finger like so. All the excess you can put underneath the palm of your hand so it's out of the way. Make sure and get it nice and tight, and then take the smallest bit of polish you can. Less is more in this case, just a very small amount. Your boots should be clean from the water, and start rubbing it in circles like so, just ensuring to cover the boot nice and slowly, just nice small circles, just rub it in. And I can't stress enough just to use a very little amount of polish. If you use too much, it'll ruin the boot and it'll dull it. So just a nice little bit. And you see there, I breathe on the boot. The moisture from your breath will add to the building process. People swear by using spit. I wouldn't advise this. The acid in your saliva will destroy the building process in the leather. So I wouldn't suggest you doing that. That's why I've got my container of water. So I'll use that. You just dip the cloth in the water a slight little bit. Try to get rid of the excess by flicking it out, and then just rub it into a circle like so. And just keep applying this process, but just little tiny wee touches of polish every now and again, and then a bit of breath, and just rub it in like so, and it should give you that mirror shine that you see there. But you just keep doing the small circles nice and slowly. You can rotate the boot like I'm doing there, you know, rotate the boot from left to right, and do a circular motion with your cloth like so. Don't forget to get round near the hem of the boot, down at the bottom. Just cover the whole boot, don't miss any bits. And once the process is coming on a bit, what you want to do is you want to start making bigger circles, and you'll start to see the circles disappear. And that will give you your bull. So a bit more water onto the boot, not too much water either. You need to get a happy balance between the polish and the water, and just very small amounts. It took me many years to learn that less is more in this process. I used to use far too much polish, and it would take you ages to get a bull, but this way is mega fast and effective, and using your breath a lot as well is quite good. You'll see it steam up, and then you can just see where your circles are going, and where you need to hit on the boot. So as you can see there, it's starting to shine up quite a bit. I'm going to start making the circles quite a bit bigger, and eventually you'll just know yourself with trial and error. you'll know that the boot's pretty much built, and it'll start shining up and the circles will start to disappear a little bit, but that's through yourself making bigger circles. So start making quite big circles, and that'll be the end of the sort of bulling process on that side of things. As you've probably noticed, there's a line between my bull and the rest of the boot. Now, I done this through line of sight just from experience, but what you can do is you can put down some insulation tape or some tape, just to have a clear line between the bull and the rest of the boot. I wouldn't suggest bulling the whole of the boot on certain types of boots such as these, the assault boots here that I've got, because what will happen is it'll just crack, so it's better just sticking with the toe cap. I know some regiments like the whole boot to be built, but in certain boots it can just completely ruin it, and the polish will just crack off, the boot will just crack off, as well as it'll wreck the toe cap as well, because the bits will crack off near the cap and the actual boot. So I would suggest not doing that, just using a brush for that side of the boot, and you do get quite a good mirror shine, as you can see from using the brush method. So once you're happy with the bull from the cloth, the next thing you can do is get a bit of cotton wool, put it in the water, squeeze the excess out, and just sort of wash the toe cap like so, just with the damp bit of cotton wool, and that will clean it, and it just sort of gets off any excess polish. You don't want to scrub it too hard, just nice and gently like I'm doing there, not too much force applied. So it's good to have a wee pack of cotton wool balls just for when you're finished. So again, once the process is finished, run some cold water and just run it over the boot. Just ensure that you start from the back like I'm doing there and move it down, further down the toe cap, and the water will just run off because of the bulling. It'll just run clean off and not leave any watermarks, and then just shake off the excess of the boot afterwards. So you want to repeat the same process on each boot and try and do exactly the same thing that you've done on the other boot, because you don't want them to look different from each other, and you'll have to do this quite a few times. It might take hours, maybe even days, to get a decent bull to start coming up, and it'll just depend on the leather. But try and spend as much time as you can on each boot. Don't spend too much time on one boot, because then you just have one boot better than the other. So there you have it, that's the finished result. A few more coats and they'll be really shiny, but they're quite an old boot, they're second hand. The little patching bits at the front can't really be helped, but they do shine up, so that's a mirror shine, you can see your face in that. So it's just keeping going at it, little regular bits, just while you're sitting watching TV and chilling out, catching up on all your programs. You can just sit there and do that. And they'll be shiny in no time. But another thing to do when you're finished and you're not building them, obviously I have to relace these. Use the cloth or a different cloth that you've got and put them over the top, and that'll keep the dust off them for when you go back to doing it again. So again, with the cloth, I would definitely recommend using a proper leather cloth like that. The likes of these chamois leathers, they're absolutely no use whatsoever for bulling boots. They're too fluffy and bits will get stuck on them, and they're just not good enough. They're not as smooth as them. They'll cause damage. So you're better investing in getting a good leather cloth to do it properly. So yeah, I hope that's been helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to get back to reading my Commando comic. Getting quite good, a good wee read, and hopefully it's inspired you to start getting your boots ready for Remembrance Day. So I'll catch you in a bit. They don't make them like they used to.